Gaming has been in an existential crisis ever since Kingdom Come Deliverance 2, when it was very clear that several of the influencers out there who went under the banner of anti-woke were actually paid by these groups, and it's very obvious at this juncture that they just went all in on sweeping for this game that had graphic homosexual sex to it, underage at that, and of course had black people in Bohemian Court, and not to mention a root out anti-Semitic gathering mission in the Crusades, which doesn't make any sense whatsoever. They used to, in Kingdom Come Deliverance, the original one, they used to hail historical accuracy as a thing, and of course they decided to hire DEI consultants, it turned out, to appease Embracer Group, the big company out there. So when they got caught with their pants down, instead of just admitting that they did wrong, these people, it was, of course, I'll name names, Smash JT, Hypnotic, and others, went out there and attempted to smear personally everybody who was honestly right-wing, right, and honestly Christian out there. It was a pretty obvious campaign tactic to try to get the distraction off of the fact that they've been lying about gaming for a long time. Remember, these are the same people who invented an Ubisoft insider. It turned out it was just one of the woke activists out there who was just feeding him information, and he didn't verify or vet it whatsoever. And it was a giant attempt to, of course, try to stop Fandom Pulse, because Fandom Pulse is telling the truth in gaming about all this stuff. And this is really catching fire. It's really winning. And they didn't want that. They wanted to gatekeep it. So Jack Posobiec actually stopped by and actually allowed us to use his article that he wrote for Fandom Pulse. And so thank you, Jack Posobiec. Great guy. And this is on the woke light and what we're talking about here. It's very, very important because these guys are using the term woke right, which is something that's been invented by James Lindsay. It's a nonsense word that makes no sense, because if you're right wing, you're not woke. It's quite the opposite, right? It's very obvious on that level. And so they've been saying that over and over and over again. And Jack Posobiec said, no, it's really the woke light, because these people who are doing this are woke. They're just like diet woke. They're okay with some woke and not others. We saw it with Smash JT going out there saying that he is fine with having transgenderism in video games. He actually wants as much as possible. He also said that in Kingdom Come Deliverance 2, the gay scenes were not gay. Very weird. And so we could tell like where these guys are at. They have no morals. They just want to have their channels make a bunch of free clicks off of nothing and grift off of the right-wing movement. So we're here to push back. This is a very good essay. I'm going to read this today, but oh my gosh, absolutely wild what's going on, and we'll get into exactly what they're trying to do on this level. The term woke light incisively captures a peculiar and insidious phenomenon within the evolving political landscape of the American right. It is one thing, but these are people who grifted off of the American right. They're not a part of the American right. These are left-wing guys who came in, and of course, YouTube loves to promote left-wing guys who are fake, right? So they get big really, really fast, seemingly come out of nowhere, and that's kind of where they're trying to capture the control of our movement here. And they're not going to be successful because, of course, people are waking up to this all over. We've seen the last week, we've made major strides in the culture. The Overton window's shifting. People are not buying into this crap anymore, and we're not tolerating any level of woke anymore. The woke light are not conservatives in the traditional sense, nor are they firebrand populists who fueled the MAGA movement's ascendance in 2024. Instead, they're former liberals, or at least those steeped in liberal sensibilities, who have drifted rightward, not out of conviction, but out of opportunism and or discomfort with the left's excesses. These individuals now seek to control and gatekeep the newly ascendant right, positioning themselves as arbiters of respectability while now undermining the very coalition that brought to victory in 2024. And what we saw with these guys in gaming, we saw exactly that. They did a big campaign with this Kingdom Comes Deliverance 2 to cancel anybody who was out there saying, just noticing that there were problems with this game. And they invented things that people said. They started talking about this game First Descendant, and they kept saying that I was saying things about things. I've never talked about that game. It's really, really weird. I actually had Smash on my channel last week, and he mentioned, oh, well, what about First Descendant? And I'm like, I didn't say anything about it. I just said, it's kind of tacky. It doesn't look like a good game. Do you agree with that? And he goes, yeah. I'm like, so why are you going at me over it? Well, Melanie Mack said this. I said, am I Melanie Mack? He said, well, no. He said, well, why didn't you call her out on that? I said, I don't really care what somebody else thinks about a video game. I don't need to call out somebody on the right for having an opinion about a video game. And that blew his mind. He just could not even like understand that that's the deal. And that's exactly what his whole channel's become, is just gatekeeping this stuff. Look at this unhinged, anti-Semitic rant against the Jews. What? Then you actually see what I said, and it's nothing like that whatsoever. Unmasked as a proud anti-Semite. You see this right here with Gothic Therapy and these people coming on here, and then yes, anti-Semitic meltdown. You look at all these videos. Like, I mean, it was just crazy. Meltdown continued. Demand Jews need to repent and convert. Well, wait a minute. Like, I'm a Christian. Yeah, I demand everybody needs to repent and convert. Isn't that our whole deal? Make disciples of all nations? They're pretending to be outraged about this in 30-minute videos about this stuff, and it's absolutely crazy. And there's once of course, it was obvious that like it was this sort of tactic was just making my channel bigger, because guess what? It just makes me look cooler. Because I don't equivocate to these false moral arbiters. He moved on, and he actually started, look at this, he used it, woke light. The woke right invades gaming. But woke light is not John Trent here. John Trent is just a Christian and Catholic conservative, and that's what he does, and that's what they're taking exception with. So let's continue here, because this is exactly what's being talked about in the gaming spaces. And very, very funny once all this went down last week. If you guys watch my live stream where he showed up, we tried to talk gaming for a little bit. We tried to talk gaming history, gaming journalism, and things like that. But you could tell he was typing, and like you could tell people were going, "You got to get the gotcha questions in. Call him a racist. Call him a racist." And it's like, wow, they exposed themselves as leftists. They really did. And so that's exactly what happened last week. Same thing when doubling down on libeling Razor Fist. Like, why would you do that? And it's all just to maintain control. The woke light did not build the 2024 coalition. That coalition of vibrant, unruly alliance of working class voters, cultural dissidents, and principled conservatives was forged through years of crucible and grassroots energy, defiance of establishment norms, a rejection of both progressive outreach and milquetoast republicanism. The woke light, by contrast, often stood on the sidelines or at times actively opposed this movement. And we see this a lot. We see a lot with these gaming influencers. It's the same thing. They actively oppose people saying, hey, this looks pretty woke, and they go, a little woke's fine. It's a fun game. If they look and see it's popular. They wait and see whether something seems like it's popular first before coming up with their opinions on it, rather than actually looking at the content itself. It's very, very unabashed at this point. Many of them still tethered to the aesthetics, sorry about that, and the instincts of their liberal past recoil at the coalition's use of power, its willingness to confront the left head-on, and its rejection of the old rules and norms of the political engagement. This is where they actually absolutely lost it. He really thought when he called me racist and the like that I would just somehow just like take that to heart and be like, oh my gosh. But no, we've been in this a long time. I've been in this a long time. And what you do when somebody does that is you laugh at them, because that word doesn't mean anything. It has no power here. We're done. We are done with this kind of thing. And it's so great because this last week, again, has just shown a big shift in the culture where people are not taking that seriously anymore. In fact, it's almost like a badge of honor. You have a leftist shriek that at you, and you just go, okay, that means I'm the real deal. It's pretty obvious, right? Some even worked to undermine the coalition at key moments, clinging to outdated notions of civility or bipartisanship that served to dilute the right's resolve. And yes, we saw this quite a bit in gaming over the last several months. Perhaps the most damaging aspect of the woke light's influence is their aversion to wielding power against the left. While the Magnum movement understands that politics is a contest of strength, the woke light preach restraint, caution, and compromise. This creates a lopsided dynamic where the left, unencumbered by such hesitations, wielded power ruthlessly through institutions, media, lawfare, and to advance its agenda unopposed. By opposing the efforts to match the left's intensity, the woke light effectively ensured that the right fought with one hand tied behind its back. Their insistence on playing nice was not a moral stance, but a strategic surrender, allowing the left to dominate the cultural and political battles. And that's where it comes down to with these people. They really are expecting that the people in the industry who are the woke leftists who are controlling AAA gaming and the like are going to give them head pats because, oh, look, I'm reasonable. I'm calling that guy the real racist. Look, I'm just like you. That's who they're trying to virtue signal to, because why else would you do that? That's all it is a virtue signal to those people. And those people are never going to accept them. They're never going to go, and help them or anything like that. But at the same time, they still just want that clout with the left. It's really, really wild. And of course, we reject that here. The woke light's attempt to gatekeep the right is a direct threat to the MAGA movement's momentum. They seek to impose their own sensibilities rooted in liberal norms of propriety, credentialism, and deference to institutional hierarchy. On a moment when that thrives on disruption and authenticity, they are self-appointed hall monitors of the new right, eager to police its tone. That's right. That's what's being done to me here. Its tactics, its leaders, all while lacking the vision or courage to lead themselves. Of course, they're not leading, and that's the whole point. And I've developed a plan, guys, because we need to have clear standards in gaming. This is why I mentioned my Gamergate 3 thread that I made a couple of weeks ago, that you have to have something that is explicitly right-wing. It has to have explicit values. Otherwise, people are going to be able to grift off of it. It's very, very simple. And so we're moving that forward. We're building a much better movement, and this is catching fire, guys. It really is. What's happening over the last week is a rejection of these people and this nonsense right here. Look at this. I mean, just gosh, this is just an absurd way of acting towards right-wing creators and the like. It's like, what are you doing? Oh my gosh, what can you do? Oh well. Exposed big time. The MAGA movement cannot allow the woke light to control its future. The coalition that triumphed in 2024 was built on a rejection of elitism, whether from the left or right. It was a coalition that embraced action as necessary tool to dismantle the left's institutional stranglehold and restore a nation rooted in sovereignty, freedom, and common sense. To cede control to the woke light would be to betray that coalition and its animating spirit. The path forward lies in amplifying the voices of those who built the movement and not those who seek to tame it. So yeah, like I said, these guys kind of came out of nowhere. They got big really, really fast because they are leftist at heart. And so, of course, the YouTube algorithm loves that sort of thing. And so you have to go, and there's a bunch of people to support who are great in gaming. There's myself. There's John Trent, the Trent Report, if you don't know that YouTube channel. Andy Pants Gaming's a really great one out there as well. He's the real deal. And people like that, Synthetic Man's another great one out there that's the real deal, a real gamer out there. These are the people who are actually leading and not caving. And so this is the weird part, because these influencers, when they become influencers to a certain level, it's almost like they follow the culture rather than influencing the culture. And we're out here trying to actually influence the culture and make real changes. That's why what we're going to do is going to last. And what they're doing is nothing, because all they're doing is following whatever the hot new trend video game is and talking about the hot new trend and just being on board with whatever the hot new trend is. Well, guess what? That trend goes away. Nobody's playing that video game in a week, and they're just on to the next one, because whatever it is just whatever's popular is going to be on their algorithm. We don't do that here. We actually try to create the news and make the news and actually create, of course, alternative culture as well. We're really doing a great job here. So this is our Fandom Pulse, guys. And so we got together last year, John Trent and myself, and built this beautiful Substack right here that we have 8 to 10 articles every single day on movies, books, video games, comics, tabletop games, a lot of stuff on here. And we try to find everything so we can call out the leftist control and stranglehold over culture. We also have articles like this. Thank you, Jack Posobiec, again, for allowing us to repost that. That is a beautiful, beautiful summation of what's going on in the culture right now. And we're building this from scratch with zero advertising revenue. We're doing this as people who have been in the media before. I've worked at The Federalist and PJ Media. John Trent's worked at Bounding Into Comics and That Park Place. What we found is when you are beholden to advertising, it causes problems for you being able to tell just the unabashed truth. And so we moved over here to do so. We've been crushing it because of that, guys. Keep growing. And so this is in the description below. I want you to sign up. And that way we are not beholden to algorithms or anything either, because Fandom Pulse, of course, when you're signed up, we can always find you. We can say hi and connect. On top of that, there is a paid subscription. So if you do want to support us and get in on this cause and help us build the media outlets of the future, because we need this to fight against Kotaku, against IGN, against PC Gamer, against all these things. It's only $5 a month to sign up. We are completely reliant on gamers like you. And why? Because we have no advertising. And so we can tell the truth because of your support. So support the real alternative media today. Support the real right wing going out there. We are going to make changes in gaming, and we've seen it. We've seen people literally literally patch their video games and change the context of their video games because of what we said in our articles. They got scared, and we are able to push further because we have to push the left out of everything in culture. They're destroying everything, and we need a new beginning. All right, leave a comment down below with what you think about this. Please hit the like and subscribe button. Really, really sad to watch this like absolute insane crash out and just attacking right-wing creators over and over and over again. I asked him repeatedly, I said, do you think that it's important, like, for the mission to be getting DEI out of gaming? And he's like, I don't know. And it's like, okay. And then it was like, in that, do you think that name-calling right-wing creators is helping that? And, of course, he couldn't answer. And you can't answer in a debate. And, of course, I offered a full-on formal Lincoln Douglas debate on the topic, and I got blocked as a result. you know that's what's happening. If they can't handle your speech, you know that they know they're doing wrong. And it's really, really sad. But we have a better way forward, and we appreciate you guys for being here. Thanks so much. We'll be back soon.